Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Noon time here in Minnesota, where I'm at. Welcome to today's webinar on being more productive in MEP. My name is Philip Charlson. I am the MEP consulting team lead here at ATG USA. And we're going to have a little fun in Revit today, and let's see what we can do to help you getting a little bit more productivity within MEP. So first off, just a little bit about myself. I've been with ATG for just over 2 years now, but overall I've been on the reseller side since 2001. I've been using Revit since 2002, soon after when Autodesk purchased the Revit program. In all those years, I've been supporting MEP and architecture firms, getting Revit implemented, training people, supporting, building up content. So I have a lot of success stories with a number of firms. I also have the most certifications by any user in the state of Minnesota, and I continue to add to those. Also, if you've attended one of my previous webinars, you probably heard I do love Legos, and also Star Wars, and I've actually created a few Star Wars themed webinars in the past on family creation, so you can go back and look for those. So our goal today is again, obviously let's see how we can get more productivity within Revit on the MEP side of things. So I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of PowerPoints today. I really want to get right into the focus here, but just want to kind of cover a few of the things that we're going to look at. We're going to take a look at some of the main features of the MEP Productivity Pack. So this is a product that we have. We're going to go through a few comparisons between that and what you get from the out-of-the-box version. We'll take a look at the shared parameter file and see what that means to you. Shared parameter file is a critical aspect for the MEP side of things, and it is a good idea to have a shared parameter, and also to have a shared parameter that's really tied to schedules, families, and tags that you have in your project. That can get you some really high productivity, depending upon how well you use your shared parameters for your projects. Another thing is taking a look at the project setup. So setting up a project is very critical to your productivity. Just the fact that, you know, if you have a more completed project setup at the start, it's going to make it obviously more productive for all the users. Less creation, less lookup information that they have to do. Also utilizing view templates within a project. I really push view templates when I train users on Revit. I've done a previous webinar on specifically view templates alone, but yeah, that is a crucial part. And again, that can save you a lot of time on a project by getting well-created view templates and obviously setting them for the individual views that you go in and create. Another thing is the development of schedules for a project. I know a lot of people that are new to Revit still have some issues with schedules, just because I think a lot of people sometimes still use manually created schedules. They may create Excel type files, and then they may want to use those within a project instead. And that isn't really where you want to be at with Revit. I always tell people when I'm training them that the schedules is kind of the end game for you, because you've gone in and put in all this content, all this intelligence information, and we want those schedules to just populate with all that information that you plugged in your design mode, and reduce that work that you have to do outside of Revit and go in and manually change that information and not have it tied to all that work that you've already done. So if you have some really good schedules, that can really benefit you. And don't limit yourself on schedules as well. I mean, it's nice to have a mechanical equipment type schedule, but what if you could create different types of mechanical equipment for all the different types of equipment that you could have within a project, and just kind of plug in that particular schedule for when you need it within a project. We'll also, find some of these features, that are not necessarily included within Revit, but they are within the productivity pack. So we will pop right into Revit here and start taking a look at this. So so right now I've got Revit 2021. I just kind of randomly picked one. I could have picked 2022, but I had this one open, so I figured, let's just do the demonstration in this. And what I've got open right now is just the out of the box system template. So all of you probably have taken a look at this at some point in time. Maybe as a firm you do have a template, a company template set up. Maybe you don't have a company template set up. But the out of the box one, it's okay. I mean, it has some good setup within here. Obviously, you have other templates that can be specific to electrical, mechanical, plumbing instances. Obviously, the different other disciplines as well, structure, architecture. Project browser, you've got some standard views in here, floor plans, ceiling plans. It's broken up into lighting and power. You scroll down here to HVAC, you got kind of the same setup within there, and also for the plumbing as well. If we go down to schedules, we got one schedule within there, space, outdoor, air schedule. So not a whole lot to work with within there. Also with the out of the box template, if you've ever looked at the shared parameter file, if I go to the manage, click on shared parameters, and if you go there for the first time, you'll notice that there is no shared parameter file. So Revit does not come with any shared parameter file. So if you're not aware of a shared parameter, basically what it is a number of parameters that are tied into a file that can be utilized within families, within tags and schedules, and they can all be somewhat linked together. So you can have the same shared parameters in all three of those components, so that when you go in and plug in information in one of those objects, it basically shares it with the other components. So if I go in and add some information into a shared parameter that is tied into a family, and those parameters are also within a schedule, I know that if I fill that information out in my family, it will automatically populate within my schedule. So it's a very good idea to at least get a shared parameter started if you're just getting into Revit at this point, or if you've never even thought about having a shared parameter. I think most people that maybe start with a shared parameter start utilizing it within title blocks, just simple information within there. This one here, I've got just a simple shared parameter file tied into this one. But if I go in and click on browse, I can go in and grab a different shared parameter file here. We have an MEP Productivity Pack shared parameter file. If you've never taken a look at the MEP Productivity Pack before, it does include what's called a master shared parameters. And you can see that it is just a text file. If I go in and open this up, you'll see that we have a number of different grouping items here. This allows you to place the types of parameters that you want within the grouping that you want. You don't want to just simply dump all of them into a shared parameter file, and hopefully you can locate where they're at. So as you can see here, you've got your electrical types within here. And as I scroll through here, you can kind of see some of the common type electrical parameters that you might want to have and apply to electrical features within there. If I just simply click on one here and go to the properties, you can see not a whole lot of information there. You can see it's just called panel feed, just a common discipline and just a text parameter. But if I go in and add that to a piece of electrical equipment, and I also have it in the schedule, when I go in and attach it to that particular family, again, we fill in the data in there and it fills in that data within the schedule. So this shared parameter file contains nearly 3,000 parameters in it. So yeah, that is a lot of shared parameters in there. But again, you do have a way that you can locate them by going to the specific categories and finding those particular items. You'll see a lot of these are based on the types of equipment that you might go in and place. So they are kind of grouped together within there. So you can see in this case, we have a number of condenser type parameters all tied in, and makes it a little bit easier to locate those when you have the name of the equipment at the front end of it, and then kind of the descriptor value on the back end of it. So again, the shared parameters, definitely, start utilizing that, see how you can go in and utilize that. Again, I did a webinar specifically on shared parameters, so you may want to go back and look at that if you haven't looked at the ATG USA YouTube page. We've got a ton of videos on there. But yeah, look for the shared parameters one. That will kind of get you going in the right direction to develop your shared parameters. The other thing with the out of the box is the library of components. If I go down here to the families, we've got some standard families within here, but nothing that is really, again, specific to maybe your needs or the types of projects that you want to go and use. As you can see here, when I click on electrical equipment, we have 4 pieces of equipment in here. I'm going to assume if you're on the electrical side, you're probably going to use a little bit more than that. If we go down to the mechanical equipment, again, pretty random kind of stuff that's in the list there. So you're going to have to go and look for additional content. So obviously that means you're going to have to go out, click on your insert, click on your load family, go out to your out of the box library, or maybe you've gone to a manufacturer and downloaded some content so that you can bring it into your project. Obviously, the other thing is that, if you are starting to bring in some additional content from sites, how is that going to work within your schedules? Which then, that's where you tend to have those issues with scheduling. It's like, it's not scheduling for me. I'm just going to, do it in Excel or something and just link it into my project so that, I have it within there. Or I'll create a dummy schedule within Revit and just kind of put in text information there. So we don't really want to do that. So if I pop into my other project here, this is a sample project here. If you've attended one of our ATG webinars before on MEP, you might have seen this project before. This is a project that actually comes with the productivity pack. So it kind of shows you how a project is really put together. Obviously, we could just give you a template and say, here you go, but we kind of want to show you how that is developed within a project that has been completed. So the first thing, when you pop into a project like this is your start page. So the start page is nice to have, and it has a lot of information on it right off the bat here. So you can have all of your contact information specified. Obviously, you can set your project status, address information. So you want to have all that information right at the start. The out of the box one doesn't have any kind of startup page, although you could develop one within there. But this is kind of nice to have. Also, at the bottom, you'll notice that there are some actual schedules on this page. And this is information that can be changed. You can go in and put in different types of schedules that you want to see as kind of an active type schedule. So when you pop into a project, you can kind of see that information pop out at you right away, and you can kind of see where that project is at. So what we've done is we've actually have some kind of standard schedules within here, but these can be tweaked to the way that you want, and to items that you want to see within the project. But we got heating, cooling, plant information, design field, design air properties, and it's just information that is updating as the project is progressing within here. Now, another thing is if we take a look at the project browser, you can see just looking at it right now, okay, it's project browser, kind of looks same as what we had in the out of the box here. But if I go in and expand this a bit here, you can see the structure of the project browser. It's organized within here based on where you're at with the project. Okay, so we have different aspects of it in here. So we have analysis. So when we get further along in a design, we can get the or look at the analysis type views that are related to the project. So we can do a lot of checking to see if we have the right types of information, if it's different flow values for the ductwork or pipe flowing, we'll have that information within there. We have our construction documents. So those are going to be obviously the types of views that are going to be on sheets. They're going to be what we produce and share with all the contractors. We have our coordination. So when we have coordination type meetings, we want to be able to see all the different disciplines together, and we want to be able to check to see if we have any conflicts with any other disciplines. We have our project setup. So first thing early on in the design, we want to make sure that we have views that we can use to set up our initial project. So when we're linking in different files, whether it be Revit files or AutoCAD files, we want to be able to see that information within there. And if we need to go in and create different types of scope boxes, we need to crop around certain areas to highlight. We can do all that within the project setup, which then correlates to some of our other views down the line. And then we have our working views. So where we're doing our main designs at is going to be in our working type instances there. Now for each of these, then we break them down into each of the different types of disciplines within there. So you can see with this one, we have all the disciplines for our MEP. We got our fire protection, HVAC, lighting, we got mechanical piping, got plumbing, power. We also have symbol objects, and we have general systems within. And then you break those down even further, and we have kind of standard setups for different floor plans. So there's some standard levels. Now, again, this is the sample project. The actual template has it set up so there's 8 default levels within it. So depending upon the type of projects that you work on, you can scale that back. You're always able to fully modify the template that you get. And if you're only working on 2-story buildings, well, you can cut out some of those levels out of the project so that when you start a new project, you don't have to go in and delete all of that information. So you'll come to find that when you're working in a project, if you just simply delete out the level, it will go in and delete out all the views that are associated to it. So it's kind of a quick and easy way to remove a number of views in one shot there. And obviously within a project like this where you do have multiple disciplines, yeah, it's going to remove a lot of views in one shot there. I mentioned schedules. So within schedules here, you'll see that we have a few different types of schedules. If I continue to expand these, you'll see that we do have quite a few here. So we have some general type schedules. So a lot of information type in that you have for a project that's nice to have. You can see space schedules, obviously for an HVAC design. These are, again, some more checking tools. So you can use a schedule not for just information that you want to put on a sheet, but also for your own review and checking of your projects. So to have these available, nice option to have within there. So you can see this one, space schedule with no room found. Okay, why is that happening? So do we need to go and add some more spaces within there? Has the architect not gone in and named that room within their project? With that might be a conversation in a coordination meeting to find out why the architect has not gone in and named some of their rooms for their project. We're going to expand this further, obviously, for the electrical, mechanical, breaks it down into additional ones within here. So as we, as I open up each one of these, you can kind of see, oh, it's another gift for you for the holiday season. Maybe you're thinking, it's like, geez, I got to click on each one of these to get to a particular component there to try to find something. How am I going to find things in this browser? You look at the out of the box one, it's like, well, that one looks pretty simple, but there's not a whole lot of information tied to this one. What I tell people when they are working within a project that is set up with the productivity pack is to definitely use the right click and use a search tool. If you're looking for something specific, I want to look for a kitchen hood. Okay, if I type in kitchen hood, as long as it types and you're still seeing buttons there, that means there's something related to Kitchenhood. So if I click on next here, it's going to give me the listing for that. It's going to go through and find each of those instances where I have Kitchenhood. In this case, it's popping down to my families here, and I have actually a couple different kitchen hoods. So I can easily go in and find those with that search tool. So a lot of people don't know about that option when they're working with Revit, but definitely a helpful tool when you're trying to locate items within here. And I will tell you, after being with ATG for a couple of years, I probably still couldn't tell you everything that's within the productivity pack, because there are so many things, and there can be so many things that are specific to one person, but maybe not the next person. So if you are getting the productivity pack, there may be items that you want to remove out of the project to make it more simplified. If you're not working with all the disciplines, that would be something that you may want to do to make it easier for the users on a project, so they don't have to go through as many types of items within here. So each of those types of views or families, they can be removed out of a project to make it a bit more simplified. If I go back to the out of the box information and I go down to the bottom, we have a category here called groups. And when you click on it, we have detail and model, but there's nothing in there. And for some, they don't really know how to use groups within Revit. Early on, when I started using groups within Revit, I utilized them for a lot of details, some 2D type information. Used it a lot for the architecture side. Interior design, it's a great tool to use because you can go in and do maybe a typical furniture layout and go in and drop it into maybe a number of units. But how are you going to use that in the MEP side and make it useful? Well, if I go back to our sample project here and scroll down to where we have the groups, you'll see that within here, we actually have quite a few groups. We also have some details within here as well. So the way that we've used the MEP Productivity Pack for groups, I guess starting off with the detailing, you'll notice that we got all these footers in here. And if you've ever created a schedule within Revit, you probably would be like, okay, I usually like to put some information below my schedule, but we don't have the tools to actually do that in the schedule option. So what we've done is we've actually created these little footers as group details that we can just simply put in and put under the schedules. So you don't have to go in and start typing some text in there below the schedule. Instead, we can go in and place these footers in under the schedule. They're kind of pre-created, and just simply go in and modify the text that's within there for each of these schedules. So it's a small time saver, but it is saving you some time to go in and add those types of items for your projects. And then below here, we have some model type items. And when I scroll through here, you're going to see that, hey, those are a lot of plumbing type items. We got some restroom assemblies, we got some kitchen equipment, some fixture assemblies, drain assemblies. If you've ever done plumbing and done that in Revit, you know for a fact that you're trying to route all these different items. You got a restroom layout, you're putting in the P-traps in different areas, and that just takes up a ton of time. And within here, what we have are all those assemblies pre-created as model groups. So all you have to do is grab these and go in and drop them in place. And if you want, you can actually ungroup them and modify them for your particular instance. So if you need to make some adjustments, depending upon maybe where water closets are, sinks, that type of information, we can go in and do that within a group. If you're using plumbing or doing plumbing within Revit, this is a huge time saver right here. You can see a lot of productivity gains using the groups, the model groups that are within Revit within here. If I go up to the top here, and let's see, I think I have it in this view here. Yeah, if I go to my working and go to my symbols, we actually have a view that shows our mechanical model groups. Let me just pop this open real quick here, just so you can kind of see what is in each of these instances here. So you can see this one here. We've got the drain assembly on each side here, back-to-back system, and we're showing a vent coming off of there and the 2-inch line. So we'd go in and make our connection to a main line type system there. But we can go in and drop this in place. We can go in and move the drains to the location that we want for an instance like that. You know, if we scroll down a little bit further here, you can see some additional types that we have within here as well. We can go in and obviously modify the pipe sizes if we need to. Easy modifications within here, but you'll notice that we do have a lot of standard type instances. Here we have different types of, again, of kitchen equipment that we can go in and drop into place. Everything has the types of fittings, the main type item within here, even added the tags for these particular instances. So a lot of different options within there. The other thing is that with the productivity pack, we're seeing additional groups being created and added to. This is something that you can potentially do with your own templates as well. If you feel like you have a standard setup for a group, or to be able to create a group, you can go in and do that. Just simply window select around the items that you want as a group. Up at the top, you'll have the option to go in and select create group, and just give it a good naming convention, and you can save that for a future project. So you don't necessarily have to use the productivity pack, but again, there's a lot of them already pre-created within here for you to start using right away. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I was going to talk a little bit about schedule some more. So if I go to, let's go to a view here. Let's go to HVAC plan. Zoom in here a bit. So we got a plan here, and let's see what we got up here. So what is this thing? So this is, oh, it is my Kitchenhood. So I selected that to look at before. Now for this Kitchenhood, you know, I may want to have a schedule for this. So when we take a look at this Kitchenhood, we can take a look at all the parameters that are tied into this, and a good majority of these are going to be shared parameters. So what we know about that is that if they're shared parameters in the productivity pack, they're most likely tied to a schedule within the productivity pack. So does that mean that we have a Kitchenhood schedule that it's going to go in and populate that information? Well, first off, let me see here. Can I find my Kitchenhood schedule? Well, let me do that search again. We'll continue looking for Kitchenhood here. All right, so it kind of bypassed all of my schedules and just went down to a drafting view for my Kitchenhood. So that right there tells me, oh, I don't have a Kitchenhood schedule in this project. Okay, so what do I do? Well, I could go in and create one, but I know that that might take a little bit of time. I could create a simple one, but with the productivity pack, I have the power to go in and load a Kitchenhood schedule into my project. So what we've done here is I have a project. So with the productivity pack, you get a schedules and details project. Because there's so much information in there, we don't want to just populate the template with everything in it. So if I go to my insert and I choose insert from file and insert views from file, what I can do is I can go out to my productivity pack area here, and we have a schedules and details folder where I've got my productivity pack information. So when I double click on that, here is my MEP schedules and details. Actually, what I've done, let me back this up a step. I have saved this to 21, so I don't have to do an upgrade on that. So let me go out here and pick on my schedules details. So that's one thing also about the productivity pack. It comes in as a 2019 version, but you can save it to 20, 21, 22. It works fine in all those other versions. The reason why they give you an older one is because we don't know what project version you need to be working on. Hopefully you're not working on anything older than 2019. If so, make sure you have them contact AT USA, contact your salesman, and let's tell them to move up in the world, and let's get an update on that Revit there. All right, so I am looking for a Kitchenhood here. So I want to look for just schedules within my list here. And let's find a Kitchenhood within here. So we got a good long list here as well. And all right, so we got hood, commercial, kiln, range. I thought there was a Kitchenhood in here too. Well, let's try one of these up here then. Oh, I passed it. One thing I wish they had was a search when I'm looking for a view that I want to go in and insert. So maybe I have to wait till the next release on that one. So let's go back down here to hood here. So we got a commercial hood, and we'll go ahead and click OK. Unable to copy elements from file. All right, did that bring in though my view? Looks like it. Let's try the schedules again here. To our hood. Oops. I want the hood commercial here. All right, so brought that in, and look what happens here. So I didn't have a Kitchenhood schedule, but if I go out to the schedule project, you'll see that there is probably a schedule for just about every type of component within the productivity pack. And as I bring that in, you can see that it automatically locates those items. So there's 2 of those in the project. And based on the information that is in that project, it goes in and fills in all the data from that Kitchenhood within my schedule. Now, maybe you're thinking, well, geez, that schedule is just massive. Am I even going to be able to put that on my sheet? So for the schedule within here, if we want to go in and maybe minimize what we're seeing within one of these schedules, because you're going to see this with a lot of the productivity pack schedules, is that there's a lot of data in there. And the reason being is that we don't want to, put in just very simple schedules. We want schedules with a lot of data, and we want you to determine what you do or don't want to see within a schedule. So if you've ever played around with the schedules before, with the schedule open here, if I go to the properties, you'll see we've got the fields, filter, sorting, grouping, formatting, and appearance. If I go in and click on any one of those, it's going to give you a list of all the scheduled fields for this particular schedule. So if you never created a schedule this big before, that's probably a good thing, because that would take quite a long time to develop something like this. Now, every field that is showing within this list is not showing in the schedule. Okay, so what do I mean by that? It's like, you have all these fields, how come they're not in that list there? Well, if we go down here to the formatting, what you're going to see here is when I go in and click on the different fields, so this is the same list as what we see here. You're going to notice the hidden field right here. If that is checked, that means that is not being seen in this particular schedule here. So when I continue down, you can see the identity mark. That hidden field is unchecked. That is the ID that we're seeing right there. So we are kind of selectively choosing what type of fields are being shown within there. And that's also what you'd want to do when you're working with these schedules. So if you determine that you don't want to see some of these particular fields, what I would recommend is just going down this list here and checking or unchecking the hidden field. A lot of people will just simply go to the fields and start deleting these fields out of here, or just simply removing from the list. But what happens if later on down the road, maybe you want to explore having a few more of those columns show up within your schedule? Then you have to go back here and re-add them to your scheduled fields. If you go to your formatting and just simply turn them off, it's just going to hide them in the view, and you're going to shrink that schedule down to the information that you want to show on that particular project. So this is also something that you may want to do if you get the productivity pack and you're modifying some of the schedules or in the template, to go in and modify these types of instances here. So if you want to kind of standardize it for future projects, you want to do these type of tweaks to set it up for your company the way that you want to be able to see that. Go out here and we'll just cancel that. So we got our Kitchenhood created within here. One thing I want to do is I wanted to actually pop open the actual productivity pack template. So again, we've been looking at the sample project where we've got a an already existing project within here, kind of a sample creation for the productivity pack. I'm actually going to open up the one directly from 2019. So this is kind of an out of the box, here you go type of thing for the productivity pack. There hasn't been anything that's been modified with this. This template file will actually be larger than the sample project that I just showed you. With the entire productivity pack here, you've got probably a lot more views within here. If we go to the floor plan, go to HVAC, you can see again, we got 8 standard floors, plus we got a basement and roof type instance. So again, we would go in and possibly remove a number of views depending upon what type of projects that you work on within here. If I scroll down to the bottom again, for those groups, we have all those groups in there that I showed you within the sample project. If we go to the schedules, this one probably has a few more schedules, but we can also, again, go out to the schedule project and load in the different types that are not currently in the project. You may also want to go in and remove some of those schedules that are in the template for ones that you're never going to use. if you never do fire protection sprinklers, you'd probably go in and remove out those type of schedules out of the project. If you need them back in, you can just go out to the schedules project and load them in on an as needed type basis. Another thing I wanted to point out here is early on in the project, just simply the project setup. That is an important aspect to make sure that you have a good project to start out with. So when I'm starting out a project with the customer, we really want to take a look at the project setup within here. And you'll notice when I zoom in here that we have, again, all the different layer or levels. You'll see that we have these strange arc, struct, and elect items here. These are actually dummy linked files. So we have dummy architecture, structure, electrical, mechanical. So those are in the project for you to basically go in and swap out with the different people that you're working with. So when you get a new architecture file, you basically swap it out for the arc file that you get from that architect instead of using this architectural placeholder that is within here. So that's what those strange things are if you ever see those. The other thing is you see these little blocks within here. What these are for your crop areas. So for each of these, you have different scope boxes. So if you've never used a scope box within Revit before, this is just the project setup for one here. You have an overall building scope box, which typically you'll go in and surround the extents of your building, and get your architect building in there. So you grab that and drag those out to extend it out. Then you have different scope boxes based on the different types of systems. So you have a system scope box, power, HVAC, plumbing. And what these can be for are when you want to go and add scope boxes for, let's say, an electrical room, mechanical room. You want to go in and place for plumbing around the standard restrooms for an area. So you're kind of pre-creating call outs, I guess, within this area here. So you can grab these and pull those over to where you need them within your view. And then when you actually go into a particular view, so if I go to my mechanical room here, this would probably have a scope box set for this one. So for this mechanical room, if we look in the properties and go down to scope box, let me drag this out here a little bit so you can see a little bit more. You'll see that we have a scope box as edit description level 1. Well, that was actually the scope box that we were looking at on that setup page. Setup page go. There we go. So we got this guy right here, and that is what that is actually pertaining to. So obviously we don't have any architectural background in there, so we weren't seeing anything in it. But again, this allows us to go in and place these where we need them, and we can go in and set each of those views to those. And for just your standard plan type views, we can set the scope boxes for those as well. You can see here, we got scope box. It's already set for overall building. So when we go in and link in that architectural drawing, and we go in and drag that scope box out in the project setup, we're going to see just that entire area. So that we want to have those scope box set. I do see a lot of firms not using scope boxes, but it's a very, very useful tool. And when you go in and set those up for all your different views, it's going to make it a lot easier to get your views placed on the sheets as well. Instead of a user having to go into each view and going in and turning on that crop box and then going and cropping every single view to get placed onto a sheet. That's a lot of time to have to go in and do that, especially for a larger project. So again, utilizing the project setup, or again, if you don't get the productivity pack or don't have it, I would still recommend creating project setup views. It's nice to have those types of views just for when you're getting it set up. You're not going to do any design work within there, but it's really views that are there uh, to set up all of your other views for the project down the road. So you're doing a lot of pre-setup within each of these types of instances. You know, same thing here with sections. When we go to a section view, we can go in and adjust the top and bottom of these scope boxes as well. So if we don't want to see anything below a particular scope box, we can go and have it set within there. Or we can go in and move that scope box up higher as well. You can see each of these for individual floors are really tied to those heights within there. Also, you can create additional scope boxes. So beyond that, you can just go to your view tab and create a new scope box right here. So you need to be in a plan view to go in and create those scope boxes. And then also make sure that you are giving them names to what they pertain to. That's going to help the users as well. You know, if you are creating one for a restroom layout, you know, specify where that restroom is located at, you know, what floor is that restroom located at, so that when a user goes in and decides, well, I'm going to go in and set a scope box for that area, when they go to the list here, they'll have a descriptive value as to what that is within this list here. All right. So some questions have come through here. The last one is the MEP3 template, subscription service or a one-time purchase. So the MEP3 is a one-time purchase. So it isn't like getting an Autodesk subscription. If you've worked with us in the past, you may know about the CTC tools. Those are subscription based, but the MEP3 template, you purchase it and it is yours. We don't charge you anymore. It's a one-time purchase. The MEP3 template, the package, I believe is priced depending upon the quantity of people, you know, how many seats of Revit that you have, users that you have. And you also can get it specific to a discipline. So what I mean by that is if you are just an electrical company, just a mechanical company, you can just get one or the other, and that is a cheaper cost as well. When MEP Productivity Pack updates happen, those are sent out to users, but when a new release happens, that would be a new cost for a user or for a company. And we typically see a new one come out every year and a half or so. And there may be some new content, new features within it, enhancements that we found. If there's any type of errors, we have, since we did release one a couple months back, we have found some errors within there, but we're getting those corrected. We have direct contact with CTC, which is the developer for it. They actually work they are in the same building as ATG here in Minnesota. So we have that content to tell them, hey, there's an issue with this, or customer would like to see this happen to the productivity pack. So we get that information out to them, and they work on ways to either correct it or add those types of features to the instance there. Difference between the MEP3 and CTC software. So CTC is actually the developer. They have all of these suites of tools. So they are different productivity tools for Revit. So the batch suite, data suite, bin manager suite, project suite. We have some for architecture. We also have Hive, which is a content management system. That's kind of a neat tool to use as well. If you have a large library of content, and let's say you're downloading content from manufacturers, Hive is a great way to utilize that as a centralized location for all the different families. You can even put templates in there and other files as well. And instead of people going out to a server to locate information or out to their out of the box location, this is a tool that you can either use in the cloud or you can have on a server location. So most of them, the content management systems are one or the other. This one is both, and basically allowing me to choose that. So again, as far as the question goes, CTC is the developer. They develop the MEP3 and they develop these tools as well. Other questions here. Is there a way to schedule nested families separately pieces and parts? Ooh, that one I would probably have to verify. Because yeah, it's going to schedule the top level of that. That's a good one there. I might have to check on that one. Might need to find that one out just for myself. As far as families go, I try not to deeply nest other families within it, just because it makes the overall family size that much larger. And if you are putting that in multiple times into a project, it can make that project pretty good size. In some instances, you may want to look at using the grouping tool instead. If you group those items, those can be scheduled individually as components. So that is an option that you may have there. Is there any shared parameter where it can be used to generate lighting energy code? So what is their name? We have MEPPP already. I don't know on that one for sure. Again, I mentioned there's close to 3,000 shared parameters. I might have to ask one of the other guys here if they have knowledge if that one is available. So I can check that one out for you and get back to you on that. Using the detail group for the schedule footers, is there a way to constrain to the bottom schedule so when an additional item is added, the footer moved also? Unfortunately, no. Yeah, I know that stinks. I typically would add the schedule footers closer to after you've completed more of your design, so you kind of know approximately where those schedules line up. It would be nice if it could attach to the bottom of it and then just kind of extend it down as you go and add those components. But yeah, it's not really going to be tied to the schedule. It's just simply there to drop in right below it. When you do have it in place, it does actually look like it's part of the schedule because it has the line work going around that schedule footer as well. All right, well, we are at the top of the hour here. So Some of you probably have to get back to work, or maybe you're already interrupted with work, but I want to thank everybody for attending my session here. Hopefully some of the tips that I gave you here for productivity help you out. If you do have any more questions on the productivity pack, you can give me a call here, or actually I got my email address, but we also have a sales line here, or sales email as well. I would actually reach out directly to me. I am the lead consulting for the MEP side, so I would actually direct it to the person that needs to get it. And if you want to see more of the productivity pack in a demonstration, we can also set that up for you. So again, just reach out to me. And my name is Philip Charlson, pcharlson@atgusa.com. Also, if you want to know a little bit more about the productivity pack in depth, I do have some white papers that I have created on this. So if you go to this site right here, atgusa.com, and then white papers, I've got a general info white paper on the productivity pack, and then I've split up the mechanical, plumbing, and the electrical into their own white papers. So if you're looking for one or the other, both good reads, and it does a really good comparison between what you get from the out of the box to what you get in the productivity pack for each of those instances. All right. Again, thanks again, and we'll see you next time.